now on the programme by the Chief Executive of the Jockey Club, Nevin Truesdale. Nevin, a very good morning to you. And first and foremost, how did you feel that the meeting went at the weekend?
Well, I think from one perspective, very well. With fantastic racing spectacle, brilliant crowd. Liverpool, as ever, really embraced it. And we did have a very good 3 days racing, Britain's second biggest spectator sport. But, we can't ignore what happened in terms of the fatalities that we saw. And every fatality in racing is one too many. And that's obviously of concern to all of us across the whole sport, because we in racing, racecourse officials, trainers, jockeys, owners, stable staff, especially the stable staff, really care about these equine athletes, these fantastic equine heroes. And to see 3 fatalities, and condolences to all connections across the event, obviously is something we will be analysing and reviewing. The fact is that 99.8% of horses across all of racing come back from their races safely. That's come down. That fatality rate has come down by a third in the last 10 years. The sport is safer. The Grand National is probably safer than it has ever been, but that does not mean that we will stop in terms of our relentless drive to improve welfare standards. And that's obviously the one negative that's come out of what was otherwise a very good weekend, and a fantastic winner of the Grand National with a great syndicate who haven't owned horses before.
Yeah, but with respect, Nevin, I mean, every time that this happens, doesn't the Jockey Club say exactly the same thing, that we understand the affection that you have for these animals, but this does continue to happen? I mean, the RSPCA are calling for the urgent review to result in us never again exiting a festival of racing with 3 dead horses. And that's from the RSPCA.
Neil, you will never eliminate risk completely. And the fact is we have taken very significant steps over the last few years to deliver the improvements to welfare and that I mentioned in my previous answer. And we will continue to do that. And we will continue to work with charities like the RSPCA and World Horse Welfare, who help us make constructive suggestions about how we can continue to evolve the sport, move with the times and change. Now, that's exactly what we've done. That's exactly what we have been doing at ourselves, the Jockey Club, all the other race courses across the country, plus the BHA, obviously helping us to, as the independent regulator, helping to lead that process. So it's an ongoing, relentless process, Neil. And we have seen overall fatality rates decrease significantly as a result of all that. But you will never eliminate risk. You will never eliminate risk in any sport or any walk of life.
Just on that point, when you say, and you've said it several times now, that you can never eliminate risk in events such as this, I mean, isn't that just a very obvious acceptance of the fact that horses will die again at meetings like the National and other meetings around the country, particularly on the jumps?
Neil, we're never accepting of that. But the fact is that there's actually more of a chance of horse dying at home in an accident in a field or any animal than there is on a racecourse. Jacinda Russell herself, the winning trainer, now a double Grand National winning trainer, said herself in an interview yesterday that she feels her horses are safer on a racecourse than they are pretty much anywhere else. These horses are born and bred to race, Neil. Without racing, without this sort of racing, there is no thoroughbred, because racing drives breeding, which ultimately drives the sustainability of the breed itself. These horses are born to race, and without racing, there is no thoroughbred. Without the thoroughbred, there is no racing. They are inextricably linked.
The trainer of Hill 16 very specifically blames those protesters that we're looking at the moment for contributing to his horse's death. I mean, would you agree with that?
Well, first of all, there's absolutely, some of the pictures you've shown there are actually peaceful protesters expressing their opinion outside the gate. I walked past some of them on Saturday night on the way out, and we have absolutely no problem with that. That is perfectly legitimate, people expressing their opinions. Unfortunately, some have decided to take the law into their own hands, indeed break the law, because that is, let's be clear, that is what happened at Aintree on Saturday at about 10 to 5, between that and the start of the race. And there is no doubt that there is a link between the delay to the race, the impact on the horses, and the views of Sandy, who I spoke to on Saturday evening. And, like any trainer, any connection, when you lose a horse, he was, gutted and sad. And I think his comments certainly is something that we need to look at, because there's definitely there's definitely no coincidence between the fact that, for example, at the first two fences on Saturday, we saw 8 fallers or on seats of jockeys, as against 17 in the 9 years before that at those two fences.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
But Nevin, just to kind of reiterate the point that I've made already, we understand from the British Horse Racing Authority that there will be a full review. They will analyse the races involved in painstaking detail. But when you, the chief executive of the Jockey Club, say, look, we cannot eliminate the risk, I mean, what is the purpose of this review? What more can be done? Is there anything more that can be done that you haven't done already?
Well, there's plenty that's been done already, Neil. If you look at the changes to the ground conditions, we're now running this great race on good soft ground, which slows the horses down, makes it much safer. The course record in 1990, Mr. Frisk, will never be beaten because that race was run on firm ground. Changed the nature of the fences completely. New run-off areas around the fences. Changes to the entry conditions, qualification of the horses, inspection of the horses before the races. There's so much that has already been done to make this race so much safer. But look, we analyse the race every year, and we look at changes every year. I think barely a year has gone by, even during the period where we had no fatalities in the Grand National between 2013 and 2018, not a single fatality during that period. We were still reviewing the changes we could make. We were still looking at the improvements we could make. So, look, it'd be unfair of me to sit here now, 2 days after the race, and speculate on the sort of changes we might make, but there's always more we can do, around the start, around the improvement of this handling of loose horses. Roly Owers from World Horse Welfare referred to some of those issues in his statement, and I would agree. All of those issues, all of those factors should be on the table.